The energies are ripe right now with possibility. There is opportunities everywhere. It may not feel like it, depending on where you are in your journey. However, there are opportunities. This summer is so huge to really quantum leap yourself into the next level, into the next reality of your life. But there's something that is so important to note right now. Your mind is not going to take you there. Your mind only can access the past. Your mind can only access what you already know. Now we are moving into entirely new realities, the world at large, but also you individually. So you can see if you were to only use your mind to figure out how to get you there, you are actually only recreating the past, or again, something you already know, something somebody else has done, which means it will not be in alignment for you, which means it won't feel good. You won't reach the next level of success. You won't get to where you actually want to be. The key right now is discernment, 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 discernment. In fact, discernment is one of your greatest friends in the new paradigm because you must be able to distinguish between your soul's true path, what you came here for, the lessons and things you wanted to work through, the desires that you wanted to work through, the things you actually wanted to create in this reality versus the conditioning, what everybody else is doing, the programming. You see, we can often see signs. You can see signs in the world to think, oh, that's a good sign. I'm supposed to walk that way. I'm supposed to make that choice. That lines up with me. When really it's only your old conditioning, it's the old programming, it's everything else that's telling you to walk towards something. You see, in the new paradigm, it is not about your logical mind. It is about listening to yourself deep within yourself. And we as a collective species are not used to this, right? In fact, feelings have been taboo for a very long time. Goodness knows you don't want to feel the feels, right? However, we can see how far that's gotten us in the world, right? Doesn't matter if you're a man or you're a woman, you are conditioned to believe certain things about your feelings, right? Different stories depending on who you are and where you grew up and everything else. Beyond that, even just within your own family, right? The whole family systems. Just stuff your feelings down. Don't look at them. The new paradigm says, guess what? Your feelings are actually taking you to where you want to go. But what is also really, really important to know, and this is where discernment, I said it so many times, discernment, 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 is because your feelings can also make you decisions that are in alignment with your wounds, with your traumas, with your past. So, what's required of you going forward now, if you want to make those quantum leaps, if you actually want to get to the next level, which I know if you are still listening, that you absolutely do, is you must go quiet enough. You must go inward enough. You must be still enough to listen to yourself, to listen to what is it that I really want? Am I justifying something? Am I trying to convince myself of something? Or is this what I really, really want? Because that's the key there. If you ever find yourself in the moment where you're going, well, I don't love the way this goes, or this might be a bit of a red flag for me. I don't, something doesn't feel right, but you know what? It probably will be okay, or some other story you tell yourself. That's you using your logical mind to try to justify something that you know deep within your soul actually isn't for you, isn't meant to work for you, and isn't for your best and highest good. Whenever you find yourself, stop what you're doing immediately, disconnect, and go to that 50,000 foot level and like, zoom right out and look at, is this what I really, really want? Or am I convincing myself this is okay? Am I justifying it's not that bad? Because there's one energy that in the new paradigm that does not fly. And what I've called this in the past, and I continue to call this because I think it's the perfect phrasing, is you cannot negotiate with the universe in the new paradigm. In the old paradigm, you could negotiate, right? Because negotiating with the universe meant you're forcing something that's not meant to be. That's what that meant. So, what that can look like, I'm going to bring up a situation, say, we'll go with a job, because that's often the easiest to look at, because jobs in your career are often the places that most people self-abandon the most, right? Because it's got to do with money and survival, right? But I've heard this so many times from so many people. So say you know you're in the wrong place, okay? Say you know you're in the wrong job, or even if it's a soul-led business, you know you're not supposed to be doing this, or an opportunity comes in that doesn't feel quite right, but you negotiate with the universe somehow. And you say, well, if I just do this for now, it'll give me some money until I make the decision that's really in alignment with myself. You won't say it quite like that, but in a job, it could be, I'm just going to stay put here until I can figure out what to do next. And like 2 years goes by, 3 years go by. Or you say, I'm just going to wait in this job until they give me the bonus they've been promising me for a year. That's negotiating with the universe when every sign is going, get out now. And you're just like, no, I'm just gonna do this until. That's negotiating with the universe. And we do this everywhere. We've been taught that this actually works. I'm going to stay in this relationship until. It's serving a little purpose over here. It's helping me do this. I know it's not long term. I know it's not what I want. I know this person's can't fulfill my needs, but it's not that bad. And right now it's kind of working for me. That doesn't fly in the new paradigm. So anywhere in your life that you're trying to negotiate so you can stay somewhere, so you don't have to give up on something, it's so, I'll say, insidious in our culture that you may not even see it. So it's really important. This is why I said you need to slow down all the time. It's not just going for what you want, but also, are you staying in situations that are not aligned with you? Because here's the thing, the new stuff can't come in if you're holding on to the old stuff. And anytime we negotiate with the universe, we're holding on to something. It doesn't work. The new paradigm will not allow. See, the old paradigm taught you that you could control things, right? Because that's control. When you're negotiating with the universe, you're trying to control outcomes. You're trying to control your reality. You're trying to control everything, right? And the old paradigm taught me that worked. And it actually, to a certain degree, it actually did work, right? Because there was a lower frequency on the planet. But the newer frequency, which is so much higher, and what's the number one highest frequency? Authenticity. If you're negotiating with the universe to stay somewhere, to accept something just for a bit until, or anything that looks even remotely like that, that's not authentic. That's not you being authentic. So that's like you going to a job and pretending you love it when you hate it. That is not authentic, right? You cannot be authentic in that situation. In a relationship, pretending that it's working when it's not, that's not being authentic. So this is why it doesn't work. So a lot of moving into the next level, and I said there's possibilities everywhere right now, and there are, but a big part of being able to access those possibilities and even see them show up in your reality at all, like even just see them, is you not negotiating with the universe and you being able to release what is no longer working with you. So much of the new paradigm is about releasing it, because we built, and if you've seen, I've got other videos and I'm going to link one. I forget what it's called right now, but there's a video I did recently that really dove deep into this. You see, the new paradigm, your whole life was built on a frequency of fear, because that's what we had in the old paradigm, right? Well, anything that is in alignment with fear still isn't going to hold. So when we hold on to things, right, when we actually clench onto things and we negotiate with the universe, we're doing that out of fear. That doesn't wash. Like the new paradigm goes, no, that's not happening. And that's when things crumble away, right? And they fall away. So in the example that I gave you, say you're like, I'm going to stay in this job for another year until the bonus comes through, right? That's in your head what you've done in the past, maybe negotiated with the universe, right? You didn't call it that, but that's what it is. The new energies goes like, you can't do that. And all of a sudden the job will go away. Like you'll get fired, you'll get laid off. This is how the new paradigm works. It's not allowing you to stay in situations very long when you know they're not working for you, when you know deep down they are not in your best and highest good. And what's happening right now is there is a precision that is happening. You see, I would say 5 or 6 years ago, you could stay in situations longer, right? Because the frequencies were lower. So even though things weren't working, there was a little more of a grace time where you could stay and, kind of fumble along. The grace period is getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter because the frequency is that much higher, and it is getting very, 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 very precise. So if you can think of it this way, when the frequencies in the planet started to rise, you had all these like options available to you that were out of alignment. Okay, so out of alignment options, you had all this access, right? And you could stay in things for years that were out of alignment, that you hated, that didn't work for you. But what's been happening now, if you can think of it this way, the higher and the higher the frequency gets, it's like this funnel. It's going, these are now the options. These are now the options. You have less and less out of alignment options. I want to be very clear here. It is narrowing your ability to access and stay in options that are out of alignment with you. What's happening now is the options for the things that are in alignment are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. However, you will not see those options, those opportunities, those pathways that are meant for you, that are in alignment for your best and highest good. You will not see the vastness of them if you're still staying in options, opportunities, doing things that are out of alignment. In other words, you can't have both. That's not how this works. You can't live in both worlds. You can't say, I don't want to leave this out of alignment option till I see everything that's available to me that's for my greatest and highest and best good. That's not how this works. So right now, the universe is saying, life is saying, the energies are going this summer and continuing on from the summer, but really this summer is so huge for this. The universe is saying, here you go. Here's this platter that's available to you. You can't see them yet. You can't see specifically what they are, but they're going, hey, there is all of this available to you. But you can't live in this old reality and access this new one at the same time. So what's it going to be? What are you going to choose? And I'm not here to tell you what to do. You do choose you, right? I'm just here to relay. I'm just the messenger, right? I'm just the messenger of how this works. This is how energy works, okay? So if you want to access all the opportunities and options, you've got to be able to let go of the old, to loosen your grip, because control does not fly in the new paradigm. It is the opposite. The new paradigm requires so much trust. So much trust like you've never trusted before. And one final message I want to share, because I was really contemplating this last week, and I was going to do a post, but I actually ended up, really my life was just busy. So I didn't get a chance to do a post or a video this weekend because I was busy with my own personal life. But something that's been coming through lately, and I just want you to feel into this, is there is so much support out there for you who are on this path and who are choosing your soul, who are choosing alignment, who are making these brave, bold, and courageous decisions. I've been channeling so much, and the level, I've been moved to tears. I've sensed there's a lot there, like for a lot of my life, that there's support out there. I mean, out there. I've been moved to tears many times in the last few weeks when I have felt the depth of support that is available to us. And so this time is also a time is like, can you trust this? Because the evidence is not going to show up first. That's not how this goes. You have to trust first. And you have to trust for longer than you would like. I'm going to tell you that flat out. I'm never here to BS you. You're going to have to trust longer than is comfortable for. It is going to take you focusing and really using your mind to your advantage, right? We just let our minds run our lives. And I said, your logical mind can't take you there, but what your mind is needed for right now is for you to hold the course. Like for you to stay so firm in your conviction and your determination. And when the negative thoughts come in, you you deal with them right away and you pull them out and you're like, I'm not available for those negative thoughts. I'm not available for doubt. I'm not available for lack. I'm not available for any of this stuff. That is what your mind needs to be used for right now. But I will repeat this one more time because it's so important to know that you will have to trust longer than you would like. That is how the new paradigm works, because we've lived in a world that is so opposite. We've lived in a world, it's all about control. There's no trust. There is no trust in the old paradigm. There is no trust that things are going to work out if you let go. There's no trust in a greater good. There's none of that. That's why control was brought in, right? Because control is the opposite of trust. So you have to think like Uranus not going from a place of neutrality when it comes to trust. You're coming from, and everybody is, this is not just you, it's coming from a massive deficit when it comes to trust, a massive deficit. So you not only have to come to neutrality, but you've got to go the other way. You've actually got to come into this vastness of trust. But you know what, and the reason why I'm telling you this too is because the support, I want you to hear it from me until you feel it. I get that it can be hard to believe it, but the level of trust and the level of support that is available to all of us right now really is quite significant. So can you trust? And it's a journey. Like I said, it's going to be a journey, but it has to be a conscious journey, because the trust will not naturally come. Not when you see and realize that most of the world is in a deficit, and likely you are in a deficit of trust. You've got to even just get to neutrality and then trust like you never have before. That is what the new paradigm is. So this is what is available to you now. So of course the question always is, are you going to walk that path? Are you going to choose that one? Because it's up to you. And it has to be an incredibly conscious and deliberate decision. It is not something that's just going to come and go and just let it float along and you go on with life and you pick it once in a while. That's not how this goes. Are you all in? Are you all in? Can you fully begin to trust? Can you be open to trust? Can you be open to expansion? Can you be open to the limitless possibilities that are literally trying to get your attention, but you will not see them until you make the decision, you fully commit, and in all areas of life and in all ways. This is how this works now and moving forward. All right, beautiful soul. I'm going to put the link down below as well for one-on-one sessions. If you would like an intuitive guidance session, soul alignment session, I will put the link down below there, as well as to my mentorship and application. I do 1 month, 3-month mentorships. I also do 6 months. However, it's not until somebody's worked with me for a period of time, but they are totally available, because when you are going through this, sometimes you do need long-term support, right? Because a lot of changes can happen in a short period of time. And I mean short, meaning months. When I say short, I don't mean days, I mean months. When you consider your life and how slow the energy has been over the last, like in your entire life, progress you can make now can go very quickly, relatively speaking. So I'm going to put the links for everything down below there, as well as my masterclasses, of course, which are always available on my website, which is also down below. All right, beautiful soul, take care, and I will talk to you soon.